unprecedented, and holds out the possibility that we humans may extricate ourselves from extreme climate catastrophe. To be sure, there is profound resistance to such awareness, even at times a vicious backlash. The problem is magnified by right-wing political forces, sometimes termed populist or ethno-nationalist movements, gaining power in parts of the world, groups that reject climate change and slander its advocates. Most notable here, and most dangerous to the world, is Donald Trump, the recently elected American president. He and people he has chosen to serve in his administration view climate change as non-existent, not human-caused, or a hoax. But even Trump and his allies cannot fully avoid, in some part of their minds, the recognition that harmful, human-caused climate change does indeed exist. In that sense, they are less climate deniers than climate rejectors. Their danger lies in both the actions they resist and those they take. Yet, in ways I will consider further, they too are susceptible to the forces at play in the climate swerve. Climate change confronts us with the most demanding and unique psychological task ever faced by humankind. Yet we have the capacity to apply our minds to this task in the service of protecting our habitat and surviving, perhaps renewing ourselves as a species. No one claiming to be an intellectual or a concerned citizen can avoid confronting either the nuclear or the climate threat. But because the climate problem is all-enveloping, no individual person can adequately encompass it. My portion of it, the task I have set for myself, is the comparison of nuclear and climate threats as a way of focusing on the dilemmas we face in connection with our own prior and contemporary actions. I make no claim that this perspective will in itself decrease our carbon emissions or stem the overall rise in sea levels. But even as it enables us to take another look at the still pervasive nuclear danger, I believe it can offer a measure of insight into grasping our climate menace and acting on it. 1. The Ultimate Absurdity. I wrote this book just after celebrating my 90th birthday. I don't believe most reasons people give for their longevity, but if asked about mine, I would, with tongue only slightly in cheek, point to a long-standing sense of absurdity. This does not mean that I belong to a philosophical or artistic movement that focuses on meaninglessness because we know that we all die or that we inhabit an indifferent universe. In fact, I understand us to possess minds that can create meaning in our lives and find ways to preserve the piece of our universe that we call our planetary habitat. Rather, my sense of absurdity has to do with how much that all of us observe and experience is contradictory, less than rational, based on distorted fantasy. To be sure, this sense of absurdity has considerable relationship to the extremely destructive and self-destructive events I have studied. Systematic efforts to control the human mind, the dropping of atomic bombs on populated cities, the pursuit of atrocity-producing wars, and physicians' vast-scale reversal of healing and killing. But my sense of absurdity surely preceded these studies and has had more to do with everyday human foibles, very much including my own. I have long expressed my sense of absurdity in bird cartoons. The birds are stick figures. I have no artistic talent. But they can expose just about any kind of pompousness or dubious claim, including the very claim of the uniqueness of the individual self. In one cartoon, which I like to refer to as my existential classic, a small, naive, enthusiastic bird declares, "All of a sudden, I had this wonderful feeling. I am me." And a larger, more skeptical, even jaundiced bird looks down at him and responds, "You were wrong." This sense of